Right. About right, yeah. Okay. So this morning I was thinking about doing a lower back special. So that's usually quite nice. So lower back, hip, and a little bit of spine mobility. So we're just going to start with some nice, easy sun salutation to warm up. So starting at the front of the mat, and then we'll take it to the floor fairly soon. Just take a moment as you're standing to find some stillness in your body. Notice your breath. Notice the feelings in the body. Set your intention for the practice. An hour of self-care. Enjoyment. So already as you're standing, start softening your knees. Maybe, so keeping the upper body very still. On the exhale, we're going to gently bend the knees, bring them forward as we keep the upper body straight, lowering the hips. Inhale, lengthening up, and we can bring the hands onto the lower belly, lower back, and see what happens here. So inhaling up and exhaling down. See if you can chill the exhale, coming away from the bottom of the hand on your belly. Keep your head steady, or maybe look slightly down when you come down, forward when you come up. You can do it with your feet and your legs gently raising together, or if this is very unsteady, getting the feet a little wider underneath your hips or wider again. Use the hand that's on your lower belly as you inhale to draw the whole arm back. Exhale, lowering, and feel like you can try and tilt the tailbone as well when you're lowering. You're feeling a little length in the lower back. Inhale, come up. And exhale, let's change the hand. And this time, we're going to keep the knees stuffed, but the legs quite straight. As we inhale, we lengthen here. And as we exhale, we're going to fold at the hips. Only ever so slightly, just folding the hips. Inhale straight. And exhale, soften. So the knees are stuffed, but they're not bending or straightening. It's all happening in the hips, and you only go as far or as little as it feels right, really focusing on what's happening between your two hands. And again, using the hand behind you to open the shoulder as well. So deliberately, we're doing this quite a few times, very slow, moving with your own breath. Noticing how it feels, and if you feel like you need to bend your knees, then bend your knees. Like the one thing that you'd like to really try and do is keep the part of your spine that's between your hands nice and steady. So whatever it is you need to do to keep that nice and steady. And inhale, come to center. Relax your arms. Let's move the arms with the breath. So inhaling the whole way up. Exhaling, bringing the hands to the front. Back onto the hips. Inhaling out the side. And if it feels good, join the palms at the top. Exhale, palms facing down, bring the hands down. Again, we're going to repeat this. You can close your eyes, move with your breath. Inhale, hands up to the side. Exhale, hands down by the front. Notice everything that's happening in your spine, in your shoulders, in your neck too. You can keep your head steady, or you can try and do one round with the head to the side. Change side or do a circle. Let it be your practice and your time to notice what's happening in your body. Notice what's happening in your spine, in your legs, in your shoulders. And exhale, come back to center. Now let's inhale the arms up. And as we exhale, let's stand on the left foot and bring the right knee up. Bring the hand onto the left knee. Sorry, onto the right knee. We're going to take a breath here. And if it's too much, we can inhale, come back up to center, arms up. Exhale, change. Hands onto the left knee. Inhale, come up. Exhale, onto the knee. You keep moving with your breath. Trying to move really slowly and steadily and not changing the spine so much. Just articulating the hip and the arm. The lower leg is relaxed. You're only using the muscles that you need for the movement, relaxing everything. Now, if you are steady, you might stay up with the right knee up for a breath. If it's not steady, you can bring it down, bring it back up with every breath. If it is steady, see if you can bring the knee higher up to your hand and slowly breathe here, trying to lengthen your spine. With every exhale, maybe loosen the right hip. Bring the knee a little closer to your chest. Inhaling, being tall, finding length along the spine, pushing into the left foot. See if you can drop the right hip. Deep exhale, wherever you are. Inhale, dropping the right foot, lifting the arms up. Exhale, bringing the left knee up. And again, you do it one breath at a time. If you feel unsteady, try and inhale the leg down and exhale the leg up. And just do it like for every breath. And then if you feel steady for an inhale, stay up. Focus on really lengthening the spine, dropping the tailbone down, so feeling the lengthening of the lower back. If it's steady and comfortable, you can bring the knee closer to your chest. So drawing it a little closer on the exhale. On the inhale, finding as much length as you can, relaxing the shoulders, the neck. And another breath here. And on an inhale, coming back up. Exhale, bring your arms out to the side. And we're gonna, so you can come and lean onto something for this one. Or again, we can do it rhythmically, but actually this one we might try and stay up a little longer. So set your hips to face forward and bring your right leg behind you. So you're going to grab onto your ankle or onto your foot or onto your shin. And we're going to breathe here. See if we can push the foot back. So again, trying to not let it happen really in the lower back, but rather in the front of the hip. And we can try and inhale the arm up, exhale the left arm down. Now we can maybe, if we're steady, coming with leaning the body forward and keep drawing the back knee up. And exhaling, coming back to center and relaxing the leg. Taking a breath here. If we can inhale the arm out to the side. As we exhale, soften the knees, keep the back straight, reach forward, coming to like not really a chair pose, just straight back, arms reaching forward, hips reaching back, and don't do like me. If you can engage your tummy so that your lower back comes really flat. But maybe look down at the floor in between your arms. Breathe here, draw your belly up like you're doing a plank, and you're really engaging your core. And on an exhale, hinge at the hips and let your body come forward. Try and really keep that engagement of the core as you're drawing your ribs towards your thighs. If your hands are on the floor, if you can shift the weight a little towards the hands. And feeling as you're doing that, that you want to lengthen the back of the leg. Relax the shoulders. If your hands aren't on the floor, you can still do the same. And you can push into your hands into your shin, and feel your toes on the ground. And on an inhale, slowly come back to a straight back. Arms reaching forward, engaging the core. Exhale here. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, arms up. And we're going to bring the left foot behind us. And you could also use a strap or a scarf or something if it's too hard to get the foot. Or you could just try and point the foot back and then use your hands to keep that pelvis tilt like we did at the start of the class. So whatever option works. So first, trying to find a balance of the left hip is not lifted, the foot moves back. Whatever you need, you want to feel this into your hip, not so much into your knee, not so much into your lower back. So pay a lot of attention to your body. And maybe inhaling the arms up, reaching up, exhaling the arms down. Notice where you're holding your gaze, and if you change it, does it change the posture? And again, try and make the minimum amount of effort. And then if it feels good, if it's available to you, leaning forward as you draw the foot back. Again, trying to keep the hips really nice and balanced, so facing forward, stretch coming into the left side. Exhale, coming down, bringing your feet together, Inhale, reach up, and like we did, so look between your arms, engage your core straight away. Push your hips back, reach forward with the fingertips. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. And on an exhale, come all the way forward. Let the crown of the head heavy. And gently rest in the forward. On an inhale, look forward, lengthen. And on an exhale, step your right leg back. Drop your back knee. Inhale, come up into a half lunge. So breathe here. Inhale, lengthen, look down at your right thigh, and lengthen away from the right thigh. You can use your hands on your hips, on your lower back. You can look, you can find as much balance as you can. You can adjust your feet, maybe moving them slightly apart. So finding breathing, finding length into the lower back. Now, if this is steady, let's see if we can straighten the front leg. So I'm going to inhale the arms out to the side and exhale like we just did standing. Engage the core, keep your lower back really straight. Come towards your front leg, so either your toes down or your toes up, whichever feels easier to you. And when the back no longer goes straight, let your arms come towards your legs and breathe here. Reaching forward, lengthening lower back, feeling the hamstring. Only go as far as it feels good. Inhaling, bringing the body up, and exhaling, softening the front leg. And again, trying to keep the hips really steady, the lower spine not going too forward. Let's hinge onto the front hip and feel the stretch on the right side. So only as far as you need to feel it. And you can play with your toes again on the back foot. And you're trying to not put too much weight onto the back knee. So really feel the stretch down onto the front hip. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, just pivot the hip and the lower leg behind us. We're coming to, so sometimes not massively comfortable on the knee. You can always put something underneath your knee. And now we're coming to this side lunge. So trying to get your same idea, tailbone down, hips balanced, and like you might be more like this, you know, just see how it works. Drawing the left knee open, the tailbone down, finding your balance. Maybe bring your right hand to the middle of the thigh, and the left hand just gently pushing the left thigh open. Now inhale, the right hand up. Find a lot of length here, and as we exhale, slide. So you're not resting into the leg, you're sliding on the inside, and you're not collapsing down, really reaching up. And if it feels good, you can shuffle the left foot away and maybe straighten the leg. Maybe not. This brings a big stretch onto the whole right side of the waist and the right hip. If it's a lot on your neck, you can also try and hold your head. Relax your shoulders, lift with the elbow, So no sinking in the lower arm, using the lower arm to open your chest out. And slowly bending the knee again, coming back to center. Let's walk our hands back to center and step back onto a plank or onto hands and knees, whichever you like most. So you can stay and breathe into the plank. If you're on hands and knees, you can do cat and cow breath, whatever you feel like today. If you're into a plank and you want a workout, you can inhale and lift one leg. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale the other leg. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale one hand. Exhale down. Inhale the other hand. Exhale down. And a few breaths, and if you're in hands and knees, you stay here. And now we're gonna exhale and push back into a downward dog. I'm gonna do a downward dog when I'm really gonna bend my knees first. I'm gonna look at the space between my hands. And I want my thumbs to be aligned. I want my hands to be placed in the same direction. I'm gonna push myself away from my wrist and then relax my neck between my arms. And keep feeling that engagement of the core, lengthening the whole back, playing with the distance between the feet and the hands. So maybe walk your feet in, lengthen your spine, see how that feels. Move your feet too far back, see how that feels. And find a place that feels right. You can bend the knee one after the other. And if it happens, bring the heels onto the floor, but mostly straightening the back. And on an inhale, I'm going to stretch the right leg back. Take a deep breath here. Maybe exhale, open the hip to the side, bend the right knee. Look under the right arm. Take a few breaths here if it feels good. On an exhale, slowly with control, coming back to face the center. And bring the right leg forward. Dropping back knee down, coming up into the half plunge. So looking at the left thigh, using your hands, keep your hips balanced, front to back and side to side. See if you can keep your head right over the center of your chest. So try maybe with your hand as well. Notice like how far forward your hand is. Like if you're holding your chest on your hand, I'm just going to drop the head all the way back. And then you can try and, align the front of your body and maybe align the back of the body. This is quite a nice thing to do. So palm of the hand on the back of the head, back of the hand on the back, on the lower back. Try and get your back and your head to gently push back to you. At the same time, you can lift the bottom of the skull and use the hand to support the head, lengthen the back of the neck. And relax the arms. I'm going to inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, come forward, just straight back. So only going as far as your back is straight and your hips and your legs are straight. Engage your core. Don't arch your lower back. So movement of your hips around your right thigh bone. Inhale, come up. And straighten that right leg. And we do the same thing. So moving straight, arms and spine until we reach our limit. Then let the arm down and come towards the leg as much as we need, as much as we want. Maybe trying to keep those hips balanced. You want the feeling in the back of the right leg. You want to feel like you're extending through the spine. So your hands might be on your leg or they might be on the floor. You're trying to not reach back with your head. Maybe you're drawing your head back. Maybe you're turning your head from side to side. And on an inhale, come back. Exhale, bend the knee. And again, hips really balanced. Calming. So it's like my tailbone is coming towards my front foot. As much as I can. Trying to find a nice stretch. Feeling of length. Easing the breath. And again, paying a lot of attention into the lower back, into, if you ever get lower back pain, it usually comes with like a sided like nerve trigger, like a sciatica, into like the bum cheek, sometimes down into the leg. So all of those stretches, they're not meant to be intense. They're meant to really awaken your awareness of places in your body that are stuck and that you might want to repeat. Using your breath. Slowly let yourself down, but not so much into the knee. You don't want the feeling into your knee. Do then press back into the right foot. And on an inhale, come back. On an exhale, let's turn, pivot the left foot out to the side. I'll do it back to you so you might see the alignment on this side. And really just trying to keep my hips facing alongside of the mat and the right hip open. So pick the angle that works for you. And notice the alignment of your spine, of your head. Taking a few breaths here. Maybe left hand along the side of your body, like mountain pose, and right hand inside the right hip. I'm trying to keep your shoulders balanced as well. Maybe you need to look at them. Arms are coming out the side of the body. Core is engaged. On an inhale, you can reach the hand up. Find a lot of length, and on the exhale, slide the right hand inside the left side. So not reaching down to the floor, and I'm not using my elbow onto my side to support myself. Just using the top hand, and I can look at, it feels good, I can look up towards the top hand or somewhere up and forward, kind of have the direction of reaching. Resisting the left hand, the bottom hand onto the right, and then into the right side to twist the body open, to really keep the chest facing the sides. And inhale, coming back. Exhale, slowly coming back. into a plank position. And again, if you don't have enough energy this morning, you can do an inhale into cat, exhale into cow. Actually, we might all do this for a few breaths. We're using this to really notice how much movement you have in your spine and in your shoulders. So your legs and your arms are steady, and your shoulders and your hips are rotating around the head of the ball. Now from here, we come back to center, and you can keep with cat and cow if that feels good. Or on the exhale, you come into a child pose. So not dropping the head, maybe just stretching the hands forward, stretching the hips back. And then on the inhale, really sticking your hands to your mat, coming back up and maybe dropping the hips. So really finding length, drawing the legs back. And at the end of the movement, lifting the head up. And exhale, same movement dynamic as the cat and cow. The navel comes in, push the hips all the way back into child pose. Inhale, calming, looking down first until the chest is over the hands, and then open the chest, look all the way up. And exhale, roll back. So moving with your breath. And if it doesn't work for you, come back to the initial hands and knee movement. Inhale into the upward dog position. And exhale into a child. And if you're coming to the upward dog position, you might lift the knees up, lengthen the leg. Now take a break here just to look at the next option, so you can continue with those options. Or on the exhale, you can come into a downward dog position. And on the inhale, coming into an upward dog on your toes. So strong legs, heels reaching back, chest reaching forwards, chest back. Exhale, same idea. It's the core, the navel goes and bring you all the way back. So whichever option works. We inhale, we arch and we lengthen. We exhale, navel comes in. Let's do another two more. And on the end of your exhale, rest in your downward dog or in your child pose. And actually let's all come into a wide-legged child pose. So I'm going to bring my knees to the outside of the mat and my big toes together. But I'm going to sit up, and we're going to do this lovely shoulder stretch, which also is really good for the lower back. We're bringing the first twist into the practice, so not putting too much weight into the hands. Bringing the hands a little bit more forward than right underneath the shoulders. So that on the exhale, we do it dynamically first, just to get the spine moving. So I'm going to slide my left hand through underneath my right shoulder as far as it goes, and maybe not so far the first time. As we inhale, we come back, and exhale onto the other side. We do this with the breath, and maybe we don't go very far to start, but every time we might go a little further. I do find that you'll know my shoulders get a little tired these days from all that paddling forever. That's like if I bring my bottom shoulder all the way underneath the left shoulder, then I use the mat to kind of stick and then extend the back of the upper back. And the next time you come with the left hand under or whichever side, and you can stay here. And so here you can experiment. So notice your legs, your hips. Make both legs quite symmetrical. So shouldn't be more weight on one side than the other. See if you can extend your lower spine. And like if you're comfortable and you're not totally thinking, then you can use your top hands to see if you can notice the line of your spine, maybe the engagement of your tummy. Or the other thing is use that top hand to gently press the top shoulder up and gently. So that's where like I like sticking the back of my bottom arm into the mat, and with my other hand I can up gently pull it and I get a nice stretch. And I'm really trying to face my shoulders to the side and my head will just relax. I can look up, I can look to the side, I can look down. I'm trying to then find a place where my spine is along. And then I can exhale and just stop trying to do stuff. And relax. And inhale. Just be light and tall. Maybe wiggling the fingers of the left hand. And then I'll inhale, press into my right hand. Come up to center. Maybe take a breath in center. Just notice the difference. Before you exhale into the other side. So again, breathe into, notice your hips first, your legs. Don't sink more into one side than the other. Don't lift one hip more than the other. The hips are steady. Soften your waist. Just notice if you need, if your spine is gone really down, if you're really arching in your lower back, then maybe engage the tummy a little bit so that you can twist a little more. If you can lift the side ribs out to the side. Check that your neck isn't stuck. And soften and use your breath to deepen the pose. Another 3 deep breaths down here. Just do nothing when you exhale. Inhale, notice where you are. Exhale, just relax. Like sometimes we carry the weight of the world in our shoulders. Let the weight of your body rest down on the shoulders so that they actually carry actual weight. And they can just use that softening in their throat. And on an inhale, slowly come up. And let's come onto hands and knees. And okay, I give you an option, right? We did this the last time and everybody hated it. Most people who gave me feedback hated it. which, and I also not a big fan of it, right? So I do think what we don't like, we probably need. So I'm going to tuck the toes under. Now, if this is way too much, get something underneath your knees so that there isn't such an angle into the toes. And like, you know, do it until it becomes like really not nice, and then let it go. We just try and find the place where we can relax. And like, if you're quite far, like sometimes actually you can look and maybe lift the little toes that they're nice and flat on one side, and then on the other. We don't really give them so much attention. So find a place, right? And like, do bring as much support under your knees as you need to come into that little squat. And when it's too much, and I've been talking for half a minute, maybe it's already too much. Try and let yourself think. Your toes are in contact with the ground and your knees are in contact with the ground. And I gently squeeze my legs together to give me a little more stability, but I'm trying to keep my heels underneath my bum as well. I'm going to lean back with that nice long back as much as I can. I'm going to breathe here. But I'm really lengthening. And then as I exhale, I'm leaning back a little bit. So use your hands wherever you like to do support. But don't arch, lengthen, and hinge back. And exhale, come back to center. Take a break from the toes if you need to. If you're still there, then stay there. And then we're gonna interlock the fingers behind us and breathe deeply. So first, we're gonna inhale, really lengthen, and the spine can arch as we inhale. But then as we exhale, we're gonna keep the arms away from us and throw the front of the body in so that we come back to a straight back. I think we can make some neck circles here. Your hands are going down and away from you. Circle from the other way. And that's when my toes have enough. Oh, I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Oh, I'm back. You still there? Yeah, okay. So my toes have had enough. So I'm going to come back to start bringing them flat. And then sit on my knees, or you can do it up on those knees and you can stick some padding underneath the knee. And I'm going to just cross the fingers the other way. And again, inhale. Like, actually, we can do it like standing up on the knee, quite nice. So I'm going to push my hips forward, keep my head looking down, and really move the hands away from me. Exhale, and see if I can lengthen my spine. Just breathe here. And so inhaling, lengthening the spine, exhaling, relaxing, and again, very slow neck circles. Just feel the head from side to side. Like all those upper shoulders muscles. Not collapsing in the lower back. Exhale, relax, back to sitting down. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, let's come forward. Drop the forehead onto the ground. And bring the hand up and away from it. Take 3 breaths down. On an inhale, and back up. Exhale, change your cross of the finger. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, come back down. Three breaths. And inhale, coming back. Maybe some circles with the shoulders or grabbing the elbows, swinging them. And coming to sitting. A little more onto the shoulders. I did say lower back, and then we did do a lot of lower back, and I was like, oh, my shoulders wanted to. So this one, I know this one you're not a big fan of. You can bring some support underneath the hand if that helps. So books or blocks, whatever works. And that was like, so leaning a little back. And I mean, you could also sit onto something, and you could also have your leg a little bent. So you try and get your spine straight, and you bring your arms out, kind of shoulder level apart, but if it's easier, they can be wider. So find a place that's going to work for you. And then just, so the elbows are bent, the fingertips are forward. And it's like if you have blockings, loads of different heights. Maybe not this one, but anyway, find the option that works for you, right? Lengthen through the lower spine. Cashew, don't get thick here. Excuse me. All right. Up you go, baby. Up. I know it. Sorry. So the first one, and maybe come up to the fingertips, and like it's the same movement. It's that opening of the shoulders, right? So chest forward as we breathe in, and then exhale, straighten the spine. Maybe we walk the fingers a little back. Maybe you play with the elbows. Maybe you want to walk your hands a little in, like whichever option works. And again, making sure that the neck isn't stuck. Then if you want to push up, then make sure the hands are underneath the shoulders. And you can try and really point your feet, look at your toes. Take a deep inhale and exhale, and push the hips up to reach your toes down. And if it doesn't happen with legs straight, then you do it with legs bent. But again, there's that lengthening of the lower back. And if you're all the way here, you can inhale, look all the way up. And exhale, just tilt the chin to the chest without moving the body. Keep that little soft bend in the elbows. But inhale, really lift up. And then exhale, come down. Rest down onto your back. And do just a little eagle pose to finish up and twist. So knees up, crossing the legs as high up the thigh as they go, and then squeezing the outer legs together. Don't tuck your toes in, because I find when you're lying down, that brings a lot of torque into your knees. You can do this, and I mean, if you're not massively energetic this morning, Just let the bottom foot on the floor. Keep squeezing the outer calves together and keep drawing the lower back towards the floor, whichever option you pick. And then the top leg is going to be the bottom arm. We're going to squeeze the arms as much as we can. And then we can do the same thing as the legs, right? We can bring the back of the hands together and squeeze them. Or if there is space, then we swivel the hands. And the hands we can tuck in and hold. And we're going to breathe here. We're drawing the knees and the elbows up, trying to keep the feet in line with the knees, the hands in line with the elbow. The head is loose. The neck isn't doing anything. I can turn my head from side to side. Then exhale, drop your bottom foot onto the floor and gently let your knees come to the side. So you can keep the top foot on the floor if you don't have much of the twist, or you can rest them completely. And now we can undo the arms, but keep the elbows together and straighten the top arm. Hug the shoulder with the bottom arm. Send the head to the side and take the knotted twist. Just breathe into it. And on the last breath, undo your arms and let yourself really sink into the twist. Just before you come back up, remember which way your legs were crossed, so that when we exhale and come back to center, you can cross them the other way. So as high up the thigh as they go, outer legs together, bottom foot onto the floor, or lifting the feet to be as high as the knees and keeping the knees over the hips. So like the more you're bringing your knees towards your chest, the more you're getting those hip stretch, the less you're getting the core workout. So just adjust, breathe, and see what happens for your body. And then right leg, oh yeah. So whichever leg is on top is going to be your bottom arm. And swiveling the arm and taking some breath here. No matter how hard you're trying or how tired you are, and adjust what you're doing based on what you need. So you can make it easier by dropping the feet down, by even letting go of the arms and just keeping the top arm straight and hugging the shoulder with the bottom arm. Or if you don't really feel it and you want to feel it more, extend the elbows and the knees up, move them a little bit away from each other, and keep the hands and the feet as high as the knees and elbows, or a little higher. Drawing your lower back onto the ground. Keep breathing deeply and resting your neck, making sure that your neck is stuck. And on an exhale, letting the bottom foot down, undoing the arms, keeping, so hugging the shoulder with the bottom arm, hold your arm straight, and you can just let the top foot reach onto the ground, or let both knees come to the ground, and then reach the chest towards the ceiling, towards the other side, turn the head towards the other side. Breathe here. The more you're going to squeeze your arm towards your chest, the more you're going to feel it in your shoulder. You can also use your hands, gently move, press the shoulder away from the ear. You can even use your fingertips, give a little poke to that trapezius muscle, to the side of the neck. And come back to your breath. And for the last few breaths, undo the arms. Let yourself rest. On the next, draw your knees back towards the ceiling. And inhale, take a deep stretch, legs and arms straight onto the ground. Exhale, taking your Shavasana, legs apart and arms apart. Let your body sink into the ground. Back to your feet. Back to the lower leg. Back to the knees and the thighs. Back to the buttocks and the hips. Back to the lower back and the tummy. Back, middle back, the lower ribs. Back to the upper back and the chin. Back to the sides of the neck, top of the shoulders, collarbone. Shoulders, the elbows and the forearm, the wrists and the hands. Back to the neck and the throat. Back to the jaws and the bones. Back to your face, cheeks, ears, temples, eyes and forehead. Back to the skin on your scalp. The whole body is completely relaxed. And the movement in your breath, of the breath in your upper body. Follow the wave as it rises through your chest and your tummy, pushing down into your pelvic floor. And as it withdraws. Feel that nostril are like the very edge of the wave coming onto the sand. And then the rest of your body is a little further away from the shore. The bump of the wave not their shape. Sometimes it might be rolling, have a little more pressure. You're using that gentle movement to undo any tension. Watching it come in and go out. If your mind is busy, maybe you're going to watch the more of the edge of the breath into the body, into your nostril, at the very edge of the wave coming onto the ground. See if you can let your awareness follow that wave to your throat, into your body. And just with feeling following through the limbs. Wherever you're needing awareness, kindness, relaxation. And slowly bring some movement back. A little deeper, deep in, stretch. Exhale and roll. Whatever you need. Slowly coming back to sitting. Your hands together and come to the chest. Taking a few breaths from head to tail. Relaxing the limbs and finding lightness. Balancing the contact between the palms of your hands, balancing the heat. Draw the energy together. And into your face, shoulders, beautiful heart, hips, knees, and back to your heart. Namaste. Oh. Yay, now I can see you. Let me unfreeze you or unmute you. How do I do that? Oh. There we go. Did it work? I don't know. Zoom is different on the tablet. Oh, I can hear something. I just unmuted myself. Oh yeah, I think you have to do it yourselves. Is there? Oh, there's a gallery thing. Great. Oh, it's nice to see you actually. Stop the recording. Here we go. Do you want to stop cloud recording? Yeah.